this, now you have a platform dependent languages. So what is the problem with the platform dependent languages? Because of that, you have a platform independent languages. Okay. So which languages are called as a platform dependent languages? C, C++, not Java. Okay, C, C++ are called platform dependent languages. So why C, C++ are called as a platform? You understood what is a platform? Which one is called as a platform? OS. Platform is a software or hardware? Software. And what it will provide? Runtime environment. What it provide? Runtime environment for developing and executing what? Applications. For developing and executing applications, for that, what you required is one platform, right? So operating system acts as an interface between the software and what is that? Hardware, right? For example, suppose, for example, assume that, this is very, very basic things. These are basic things which you should know it about programming languages and their features, right? So there are two computers out there. This is one computer and this is another. And this is having an operating system called Windows. And this is having an operating system called which one? Linux. Unix or Linux, anything. So this is having Windows platform and this is having Linux platform, right? For example, I write a program in C language. Who understand the C program? Actually, who understand the C program? Computer or C programmer? C programmer. Computer understand which language? Machine language, right? So C program is not understand by computer. C program is not understand by computer. C program is understand by whom? C programmer. To make this understand by the computer, what you are doing it, you are using one translator. You are using a translator called which one? Compiler. So using the compiler, okay, C compiler, you convert this source program into which program? Binary program. It means C compiler generates which code? Binary code. C compiler generates a binary code respective to, okay, respective to which operating system? Windows operating system. Okay, C compiler generates a binary code respective to which operating system? Windows. It means who understand this binary code? Or you understand this binary code? Windows. But is it this binary code is understood by Linux? No. Ring on. Is it this binary code understood by Linux? No. It means if the C program is compiled on Windows operating system, can be executed only on which operating system? Windows. But that compiled code cannot be executed on which operating system? Linux. Ring on. It means development environment and execution environment both must be what? Same. If the application is compiled on Windows, then I can execute only on which one? Windows, but I cannot execute on what? Any other operating system. Because Windows binary code is understood by Windows, but Windows binary code cannot understand by Linux. So I cannot move this code and execute on what? Linux. Then to execute on Linux, what I have to do? I have to move this program from Windows to which operating system? Linux. So when you move your program from Windows to Linux, you have to do changes in this program according to which operating system? Linux. You have to do the changes in C program according to which operating system? Linux. And then you compile here. Then you compile here. So when you compile here, what will happen? It will generate the binary code. It will generate the binary code respective to which one? Linux. Now, who understand the binary code of Linux? Linux. Is it this binary code is understood by Windows? No. For example, there is one more system is there. Okay, there is one more system is there. Okay, this is one more system, and this is another operating system, and this operating system is having, the system is having an operating system called Mac OS. Okay, so this is having Mac, right? Now, can I execute this binary code of Linux? Can I execute this binary code of Linux on Mac? No. Who understand this binary code? Only Linux, but cannot understand by which one? Mac. In order to run this program on Mac, what I have to do? I have to move my program. I have to move my program from Linux to which one? Windows. Sorry, from Linux to which one? Mac. But when you move the program from Linux to Mac, you have to do changes in the program according to which operating system? Mac. You have to do changes in the program according to which operating system? Mac. Why? Because C++ are what? Platform dependent. Why? Because C++ are what? Platform dependent. Now, what will happen if I compile here? C compiler is there. Okay, C compiler generates which code? C compiler generates which code? Binary code respective to which one? Mac. So it will generate binary code respective to which one? Mac OS. So why C are platform dependent? But what is the problem with the platform dependent? Okay, yes, the question comes here is what is platform dependent and why C are platform dependent, right? Why C are platform dependent here? In platform dependent languages, development environment, okay, in platform dependent languages, development environment and execution environment must be what? Same. If you develop on Windows, you should execute only on Windows. So here, so why C++ are called platform dependent? Question is why C++ are called platform dependent? The reasons, two reasons are there. One is compiled code of C++ are platform what? Dependent. And C++ data representation C++ data representation changes from one OS to what? Another OS. So C++ data representation changes from one OS to another OS. What is the meaning of this is every language, just try to understand this. In platform dependent languages, development environment and execution environment must be same. Why C++ are called as a platform dependent? Compiled code of C++ are platform dependent because whenever C++ programs are compiled, C++ compiler generates which code? Binary code respective to what? OS. The binary code of Windows OS cannot execute it on Linux. Binary code of Linux cannot execute it on Windows. And not only that, C++ data representation changes from one OS to another OS. What is the meaning of this? For example, if you see data types out there, and C++ is having data types, and data types are used for allocating memory. Data types are used to allocate memory. Data types are used to allocate memory, and every data type every data type. For example, you have a 16-bit operating system. You have a 16-bit operating system, and you have a 32-bit. You have a 32-bit what operating system. For example, integer is there in C, C++. Okay, this is C, C++. What is integer here? Data type. In 16-bit operating system, integer reserves how many bytes? 2 bytes. In 32-bit operating system, integer reserves how many bytes? 4 bytes. For example, if you have a data type, there is a data type called, suppose assume that there is a data type called long. In 16-bit operating system, this data type takes how many bytes? 4 bytes. In 32-bit operating system, it takes how many bytes? 8 bytes. It means if I'm writing a program on 16-bit OS, I should write respective to which one? 16-bit. If I'm writing on 32-bit OS, then I should write the program respective to what? 32-bit. When I move my program from 32-bit to 16-bit, I have to do the changes according to which one? 16-bit. If I move my program from 16-bit to 32-bit, I have to do changes according to which one? 32-bit. Means every time you have to do the changes when you move your program from one OS to what? Another. So changing program is nothing but, is it rewriting the same program again or not? Yes. You have to write the same program again and again. So that might increase the development cost. To avoid this, there is which languages out there? Platform independent languages. Please just to try to understand this. Okay. So in platform dependent languages, development environment and execution environment must be same. So why C, C++ are called platform dependent? Because compiled code of C, C++ are what? Platform dependent. Because whenever you compile the C, C++ programs, the C, C++ program generates which code? Binary code, respective to what? OS. And not only that, C, C++ data representation changes from one OS to another OS. So if you are working with data types in C, C++, integer, what is the size of integer? It depends on which one? OS. The size of the integer depends on what? OS. If you are working on 16-bit OS, the integer size is how many bytes? 2 bytes. If you are working on 32-bit OS, what is the integer size? 4 bytes. If you are working on 16-bit OS, what is the size of long? 4 bytes. If you are working on 32-bit OS, what is the size of this? 8 bytes. Is the size of these data types are fixed or changing? Changing from one OS to another. Getting on not? So it means when you're working with C, C++, okay, you have to develop the same program for multiple operating systems. Suppose I develop one game on Windows, that will work only on Windows. If I want the same game on Linux, I have to write again program on Linux. I can move this program, but I have to do changes according to Linux. So it means you are doing the same, you are developing the same program again on which environment? Linux. If it is Mac, then you have to develop the same program on which environment? Mac. How many times you have to develop? Number of times. So that might increase the development cost. So that can be avoided. That can be avoided by introducing which languages? Platform independent. So Python is what? Platform independent languages. Platform independent language. Okay, platform independent language or platform independency. So in platform independent languages, so what? Development environment, development environment, development environment, and execution environment. Development environment and execution environment is not what? Same. These both are not same. You'll say the slogan of platform independence is, you'll say, Vara. Vara means what? Write once and run what? Anywhere. Write once and run anywhere. Even it is also called as Quora. Quora means what? Here compile once and run anywhere. Compile once and run anywhere, and write once and run anywhere. But if you compile on Windows, you can run only on Windows. That is platform dependent. But here, compile once and run anywhere. Write once and run anywhere. Right? That is a slogan of which one? Platform independent. So Python, Java, .NET are platform independent languages. How Python is, now question is asked like this: how Python is platform independent? Getting or not? So first answer is Python compiled code is platform array. Python compiled code is platform independent. But C++ programs compiled code is platform dependent. Why? Generate which code? Binary code. Who understand binary code? OS. Yes or no? Okay. Now, suppose Python compiled code is platform independent, and second one is data representation. Data representation is fixed. Data representation is fixed here. Data representation is fixed here. Data representation changes from one OS to another OS, but data representation is fixed. It doesn't changes. It doesn't changes. It doesn't okay, changes from one OS to what? Another OS. But how it is? Just here. Please just try to concentrate here. Okay, how it is? Okay, how it is? For example, okay, now this is what will happen here. This is having an operating system called Windows. This is having an operating system called Windows. And this is having an operating system called Linux. Yeah. Okay, now, yes. For example, I write a program in Python.py. So C program is having extension .c. Now Python program is having extension .py, right? Now who understand the Python program? Python programmer, right? So what will happen? I try to use which compiler? Python compiler. I use a Python compiler. So what Python compiler is doing? Is it Python compiler is generating binary code? No. Python compiler is not generating which code? Binary code, but rather than it will generate which code? Bytecode. Python compiler is not generating binary code, but Python compiler is generating which code? Bytecode. Is it bytecode is understand by system? Tell me, is it bytecode is understand by system or binary code is understand by system? Binary code. Binary code is understand by system. But here, is it generating bytecode or binary code? Bytecode. Getting on. So is it bytecode is understood and executed by OS? No. It means Python compiled code cannot understand by which one? Windows. Now tell me, can I move this bytecode from one OS to another? Yes. Because bytecode is not a binary code. It is not understood by which one? OS. Can I move this bytecode from one OS to another OS? Yes. I can move this bytecode from one OS to what? Another OS. But in order to execute this, bytecode, you required another platform or not? Yes. So it means Python programs doesn't depends on which one? OS. Python program doesn't depends on what? OS. Python programs or Python provides its own platform to run which programs? Python programs, and that platform is called which one? PVM. Like in Java, you'll say JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Now here you are saying PVM, which is called Python Virtual Machine. Is it hardware or software? Software. Now who understand the bytecode? Windows or PVM? Who understand? Windows or PVM? PVM. Okay, bytecode understand by PVM. Binary code understand by OS. Bytecode is binary code is understand by OS. Bytecode is understand by PVM. So who run the binary code? OS. Who runs the bytecode? PVM. It means compiled code of Python depends on OS or PVM? PVM. Is it OS independent or not? Yes. Suppose you want to run the bytecode in your mobile. What your mobile required? PVM. If PVM is there in your mobile, you can execute which program? Bytecode or Python program. Just remember. So Python virtual machine. Is it hardware or software? Software. Python virtual machine is not hardware, right? Python virtual machine is a software. Who's providing the software? Python people only. And what this PVM is doing? Converting this bytecode into which code? Binary code. Convert this bytecode into which code? Binary code of which one? Windows. Okay, then I want to run this bytecode on Linux. What I required here? What I required here? PVM. What is PVM here? Python virtual machine. Python virtual machine. What this Python virtual machine is doing? Convert this bytecode into which code? Binary code. Convert this bytecode into binary code. Binary code. So binary code of which operating system? Linux. And execute it. So compile once and run anywhere. Compile once and run anywhere, provided what? PVM. Compile once and run anywhere, but provided what? PVM. If PVM is not there, can you execute the bytecode? No. Your system should have which one? PVM. I develop a game in Python, I compile that game and give it to you. Then to run your system, what you required in your system? PVM. Who provide the PVMs? Python. So Python provide PVMs for different operating systems. Almost all the operating system PVM is available. And you can execute your Python program even in the browser. Okay. Yes. Yes. Now, for example, yes. Now, questions come here is what is now try to answer this. What is bytecode? Yes. Compiled code of Python. Which program? Source program is called which one? Bytecode. When you get the bytecode, when you compile Python program, when you compile the Python program, you'll get which code? Bytecode. When you compile the C++ program, you get which code? Binary code. Binary code is understood by OS. Bytecode is understood by PVM. Getting or not? So tell me, what is bytecode? One more answer. Not same answer, one more answer. What is bytecode? Who understand the bytecode? Then you can say bytecode is what? Python virtual. Bytecode is what? Python virtual machine code. Bytecode is a Python virtual machine code because it understand by Python virtual machine code because it is understand by whom? PVM, right? Then bytecode is a platform dependent code or independent code. Bytecode is a platform dependent code or independent code. Independent. Binary code is a platform dependent. Bytecode is a platform independent. So bytecode is platform independent. Okay, bytecode is a platform independent code. Okay, this code you can move it from one OS to another, right? Yes. Next one is it means is it what is PVM? Next question is what is PVM? PVM stands for Python Virtual Machine. PVM stands for Python Virtual Machine. Python Virtual Machine is a software. It is a software. It is a software or platform. It is a software or platform provided by whom? Python for executing which code? Bytecode or Python applications. For executing bytecode or Python applications or programs, right? Yes, this is about bytecode and one more is which one? PVM. Yes, PVM, actually PVM having one translator. PVM provides a translator called a interpreter which converts bytecode into which code? Binary code and execute. Bytecode into binary code and execute, right? So this is how Python achieves platform independence. Yeah, this one you understood. And not only that, data types. So Python data types are there, right? Python data types sizes are not fixed. These are dynamic in what? Size, not fixed or size of data types in Python. In Python doesn't depends on which one? OS. Doesn't depends on OS. Okay, doesn't depends on OS. Okay, for example, if you take Python, right? Just here. For example, I said A equal to 60. A is a variable of which type? Integer type. So every data type in Python is a class. That is where you'll say Python is which language? Object oriented. I'll explain this. Don't worry. Okay. I want to know what is the size of A. I can find out. Says dot. Okay. Get size of A. And what is the size of A here? 28. 28 bytes. The size is written in what here? Bytes. For example, if I'm writing some B, if I'm writing B equal to 9, so such a larger value. Okay, then if I'm saying sys dot get size of which one? B, how many bytes it is? 44 bytes. Is the size of integer is the same? Size of integer is a fixed or no? The size of integer is based on, size of integer is based on value. Okay, memory is reserved based on the size of which one? Value. Memory is reserved based on the size of which one? Value. If the value is very large, it allocates that much memory. See, I just store such a larger value. This much larger value I stored. Can you store this much larger value in other languages? No, because this is dynamic in what? Size. If I'm saying sys dot get size of C, what is the size of C here? 52 bytes. But what is the size of int in C language? OS dependent. If it is 16-bit, only 2 bytes. But here, what is the size of integer? 52. What is the size of integer? 44. What is the size of integer? 28. This is number of bytes are based on, or a number of bytes are based on what? Value. Number of bytes are based on what? Value. Suppose if the question is asked, what is the size of integer in Python? Unlimited. What is the size of integer in Python? Unlimited. What is the size of integer in C? 2 bytes, 4 bytes. But what is the size of integer in Python? Unlimited. Because it is a dynamic. It is a dynamic, right? Yes. Please just to try to understand this. Okay. Size of. Now Python data type sizes are not fixed or size. Our size of data type in Python doesn't depends on what? OS. The size of this data types depends on the size of the value. The size of this data types depends on what? Size of the values, right? This is how Python achieves the platform independence. The advantage of platform independent languages, advantage of platform independent languages. Okay, independent language is what I said, right? Once and run what? Anyway. So you can develop and run the applications. You can develop and run the applications on any operating system, and suitable for developing which applications? Internet applications. When I'm talking about internet, the person may run the application on different operating system. So irrespective of it, your program should run or not. Yes. So that is the advantage. Advantage of platform independent languages is write once and run anywhere, irrespective of operating systems. Yes. This is about platform independency. Okay. So just try to tell us now, what is a platform? Is it a platform is a software or hardware? Software. Which one is called as a platform? OS. Okay. So operating system acts as an interface between the software and hardware, right? So what is a platform dependent languages? Which one is called as a platform dependent? C, C++. In platform dependent languages, development environment and execution environment both must be same. If you develop on Windows, you can execute only on Windows. In platform dependent languages, development environment and execution environment must be same. Why C, C++ are called as a platform dependent? Because compiled code of C, C++ are platform dependent. When you compile C, C++ program, C compiler generates which code? Binary code. Binary code is OS dependent. And not only that, data representation changes from one OS to another. Yes, when you move your program from one OS to another, even you have to do some changes, right? What is a platform independent? In platform independent languages, development environment and execution environment is not same. That is write once and run anywhere, compile once and run anywhere. So Python, Java, .NET are platform independent languages. How Python is a platform independent? Because Python compiled code is a platform independent. Data representation is not fixed. It doesn't changes from one OS to another OS. Okay. When you compile the Python program, the Python compiler generates which code? Bytecode. This bytecode cannot understand by real machine. It is understood by whom? PVM, Python virtual machine, who's responsible in execution of which code? Bytecode, which translate the bytecode into which code? Binary code and execute it. But Python data type sizes are not fixed. Our size of data types in Python doesn't representation on depends on which one? OS. Is it clear this one? Right? Next, we'll see Python is not only platform independent, Python is extensible. Python is extensible and what? Embeddable. Python is extensible and embeddable. I just combine these two features. Actually, extensible is one feature and embeddable is what? Another feature. But I just combine these two features. That is extensible and one more is what? Embeddable. Extensible, this is another feature. Extensible and one more is a embeddable. So what will happen is, sometimes when you're developing any project, right? Suppose, assume that I'm developing project in Python. I'm developing some project in Python, right? This is a project which I'm writing in which one? Python. But assume that I want to use the functionality of, which one? C language. Okay, C language is there. And C language functionality. Or C language libraries. C language libraries. I want to use inside which one? Python. Can I use the C functionality in Python? Tell me. C functions can I use in Python? Can I use the C functions in Python? Yes. I can use the C functions in what? Python. Assume that I'm developing a project in Python, but assume that Python is not having the functions, but those functions are available in what? C language. Now I don't want to write those functions again in Python, but I want to use directly which functions? C functions inside what? Python. For example, there is a language. Okay, there is another language is there. So there is another. So there is a language called Java language is there. Java language. Okay, now this is Java language is there. Now I want to use I want to use the libraries. I want to use the libraries or functions of. Okay, I want to use the libraries or functions of Java language. I want to use the libraries or functions of Java language in my project. Can I use the libraries or functions of Java language in my Python program? Yes, because Python is what? Extensible. Python is what? Extensible means Python language features can be extended by including the features of what? Other languages. By including the features of what? Other languages. Can I use the features of other languages in Python? Yes, because Python is having different flavors. Python is having different flavors. What I mean to tell you is, suppose, yeah, you have to understand this. You are writing a program in what? Python, but you want to include the features of what? Java. Can I call the Java functions in Python? Yes. Can I call the C functions in Python? Yes. You are including the features of C. You are including the features of Java in what? Python. So for that, Python comes with different softwares. I said, there is a software called which one? Jython. Jython is a software which is called as Java plus, yes, Java plus Python. Now this, by installing this software, you can develop the project in Python by including the features of Java. By installing this software, you can develop a program in Java by including which one? Python. So Python is extensible as well as what? Embeddable. Means Python code can be embedded. Python code can be embedded in what? Other languages as a scripting language. You can use a Python is embedded in other languages. Within Java program, I can insert which code? Python code. Embed. What you are embedding inside Java? Python. What you are embedding .NET code? Python. Getting on it. So it is not only extensible, it is not only use the features of other languages, you can also include this Python code into what? Other languages. That is called as embeddable. Because Python is not only programming language, it is also having some of the features of what? Scripting language. Who uses Jython? Java developers as well as Python developers. Java developers. Why? For doing some automation. For doing some automation, they are required to include some which code? Python code in which program? Java program. So can you run the Python programs on Java platform? Yes. Can you run the Python programs on .NET platform? Yes. Because Python comes with different implementations. Flavors. Java is having different flavors. Java flavor, .NET flavor, C flavor. Yes or no? Okay. So C Python, Jython, Iron Python, all these are different flavors of which one? Python. That makes it Python is extensible as well as what? Embeddable. Getting on not? So it means you don't require to, yeah. You don't require to, okay, you don't require to write the things which are already written in what other languages. You can simply include it. You can simply what here? Include it. Getting on. So you can just see that. You can just see that. You can just see here. Already I said Jython.org. So the Jython project provides implementation of Python in what? Java. It is a software. What is Jython? Is a software. Python software include the features of Java. So providing to Python the benefits of running on the JVM and access to classes written in what? Java. Jython implementation are free. And see here, embedded scripting. Java programmers can add the Jython libraries to their system to allow end users write simple or complicated scripts that add functionality to what? Applications. Now who uses? For example, see this is which program? Java program. This is which program? Java program. And within Java program, you are calling which function? Alright. Within Java program, you are calling which function? Python function. Within Java program, you are executing which function? Python function. Means Python code is embedded within, or Python code is embedded within Java. Python code is embedded within Java. Now this is which program? Python program. And within Python program, you are using the features of what? Java. That is called as what? Extensible. You are extending the features of what? Python by including the features of what? Java. See here. Why? Who uses Jython? Who uses Jython? Jython is embedded. Jython is embedded in lots of projects like IBM WebSphere. What is WebSphere? Is a web server. WebSphere is a web server. Use Jython to provide administrative scripting capabilities. An Apache Pig use Jython to support user-defined functions. Use Jython to support user-defined functions. Now, a lot of companies are using Jython or not? Yes. Where it include the features of which one? Python. In the same way, I said, there is which one? Iron Python is there. Iron Python. The Python programming language for .NET. Now, Iron Python is an open source implementation of the Python programming language, which is tightly integrated with .NET. Iron Python can use .NET and Python libraries, and other .NET languages can use a Python code easily. There is one more which is called as what is this here? MicroPython. See here, this is MicroPython. As a Python sitting on which one? Microprocessor. Means Python can be embedded within what? Assembly language. Easier. Now, MicroPython is a software implementation. See, right? MicroPython is a software implementation of a programming language largely complicated with Python, written in C, and that is optimized to run on which one? Microcontroller. So can you develop embedded systems or embedded softwares in Python or not? Yes. So there are different implementations out there, which makes it Python is embeddable as well as what? Extensible. What is the meaning of extensible? All right. What is extensible? What is extensible? So Python is extensible. Python is what? Extensible language. So Python allows to use, or Python allows using which languages? Other languages code. Python allows using other languages code. Other languages code means which languages? C, Java, .NET. Inside which program? Python code or program. Means you are extending the features of Python. You are extending the features of Python by including the features of C, Java, and .NET. You are extending the features of Python by including the features of C, Java, and .NET. That is called as extensible. That is called as extensible, right? Embeddable. What is embeddable? What is embeddable? Python code. Python code can be inserted. Python code can be inserted in other programming languages. Other programming languages. Python code can be inserted in other programming languages, like where you can insert in C, where you can insert in Java, where you can insert in .NET. Anywhere you can insert it, right? Yes. So that is what you mean by extensible and embedded. But how Python achieves How Python achieves? How Python achieves this extensibility and embeddable? How Python achieves extensibility and embeddable? How Python achieves extensibility and embeddable? Tell me here, Python software, Python software comes in different, different what? Implementations or flavors. Python software comes in different implementations or flavors. What are the flavors of Python? What are the what are the different flavors of Python? What is this? C Python. C Python. C Python is there. C Python. Next one is Jython. Next one is Iron Python. Next is Micro Python. Next is PyPy. There is a R Python. Like this, there are many flavors are there. There are many flavors are there. Ice cream. Ice cream. Butterscotch ice cream. Butterscotch is one flavor, but is ice cream only, right? Python, J Python, Java with Python. C Python, C with what? Python. These are different softwares. Now, Jython is used by Java people. Iron Python is used by .NET people. C Python is used by C people. But we are using Python because we are writing which programs? Python programs. If I want to include Java features, I should install Jython. If I want to include .NET features, I should install Iron Python. If I'm not including any features of Java or .NET, I just install only Python. I don't require to install Jython or what is that? Iron Python. Okay, now, right. So this is how the Python is extensible as well as what? Embeddable. Right? Is it clear this one? Right? Next is now Python is not only extensible or embeddable. Python is which language? Object oriented. This is where you'll say yes. Python is object oriented programming language. I already said, is it object oriented is a language? Tell me here, is it object oriented is a language? No, object oriented is not a language. It is a programming paradigm. Yes, very good. Now, object oriented is not language, right? Object oriented is not a language. It is a programming principle, is a programming paradigm or concept. It is a programming concept which define set of what? Rules and regulations for writing which one? Programs. For writing programs. How to write a programs? You write a programs in Python using which principle? Object oriented. Defines set of rules and regulations. So there are so many languages which are almost all modern languages are which one? Object oriented only. C++ is object oriented. Java is object oriented. .NET is object oriented. Python object oriented. JavaScript is object oriented. Even your database like Oracle, is called as object oriented relational database management system. Even your database like Oracle is called object oriented relational database management system. You have a separate chapter in your core syllabus. Big chapter is there. This is one of the big chapter. See here. What is this chapter here is OOP. So you learn all like encapsulation, polymorphism, abstraction, class, object, inheritance. So this is one of the big chapter, OOP. Now up to here, so many topics are there in OOP. Big chapter. You know Python, then you must know what? OOP. So it is not in 1 minute. I cannot tell what is OOP. I can just give only a definition, but you learn this in detail. You learn this in detail, right? So object oriented is not a language. It is a programming paradigm or concept which define set of rules and regulations for writing programs. Simple meaning is in object oriented programming languages, data is represented as what? Objects. For every object, there is behind one class. For every object behind, there is one class. Objects, you find so many objects in real time, right? Okay, you'll say, for example, BMW is which object? Car object. BMW is object, right? Of which type? Car type. Car is what here? Type. BMW is what? Object. Of which type? Car type. Orient fan. Orient fan is what? Object. Orient fan is object. It is object of which type? Fan type. Student is object of which type? Person type. Employee is object of which type? Person type. Customer is object of which type? Person type. Getting on a type. Every type is one class and instances are what? Objects. Car is again which type? Vehicle. Inheritance. Car is again which type? Vehicle. Vehicle is a type. Car is a types of car is a type of vehicle. Truck is a type of vehicle. Inheritance. Truck is a type of vehicle. Car is a type of vehicle. Bike is a type of vehicle. Getting on not? Okay. BMW is a object of type car. BMW is a object of type car. Audi is a type of object car. Yes or no? Okay, so very simple. Object oriented is very easy. Yes. So object oriented is not language. It is a programming paradigm or concept which is defined some set of rules and regulations for writing programs. Okay. All modern languages are what? Object oriented. I'll tell you this in detail. Don't think that what is object means car, right? Okay. Car is a type and BMW is what? Object, like that. We'll see that. Okay. Suppose A equal to 10. A is the object of which type? Integer. B equal to 20. 20 is which type? Integer. B is the object of which type? Integer. What is integer type? A, B are what? Instances of which type? Integer. Reading on. Suppose F1 equal to 1.5. 1.5 is which value? Float. F1 is the object of which type? Float type. F2 is the object of which type? Float type. So type is a class and instances are what here? Objects. For every object behind there is one class. Very simple. We'll see in detail what is object, what is a class. But any programming language which support these principles is called as object-oriented programming language. What are the principles of object-oriented is? Okay, these are the principles of object-oriented. One is encapsulation. What is the first one? Encapsulation. What is the second one? Polymorphism. What is the third one? Inheritance. And what is the fourth one? Class, object. And what do you mean by this is called which one? Abstraction. So these are called which principles? Object-oriented principles. If anyone asks you what is object-oriented, you should not say object-oriented something else. It is called as a programming paradigm. It defines set of rules and regulation. What are the rules of object-oriented encapsulation? Polymorphism, inheritance, class, object, and abstraction. This I'll discuss this once we start data types. So before telling about data types, first I'll discuss what is a class and what is a object is. Okay. So what is the advantage? What is the advantage of OOP? I should not say OOPS. Oops. No, OOP. Object oriented programming. Okay. OOP, not OOPS. Okay. Now, what is the advantage? What is the advantage of using this is modularity is there and reusability will be there, reusability of code and data, and security it will provide. Modularity, reusability, and it provides security. And not only that, it provides readability, that is easy to understand code, readability, easy to understand the code, and extensibility is provided. And not only that, efficiency, all these are advantages. All these are advantages of using which one? Object oriented programming. But how you are achieving all this? Or how you are achieving all this? By using encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance. Encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance. Right? Yes. Please just to try to understand. Python is which language? Sorry. Python is which language? Object-oriented programming language. Object-oriented is not a language. It is a programming paradigm. What it define? Set of rules and regulations for writing program. What are the rules of object-oriented? Encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, class, object, abstraction. Ring or not? So sometimes in projects, they may ask you, okay, in your project, where you implemented polymorphism, in your project, where you implemented inheritance, in real time, where polymorphism is implemented, in real time, where inheritance is implemented. Now you must know all this, and we'll discuss all this, right? And these are the advantages. Okay. Next feature we'll see. That is after object orientation. Next is Python is which language here? Dynamic. Yes. How many features? 10, right? How many we completed now? 10, 8. Yeah, easy or simple and free and open source, large standard libraries, platform, independent, interpreted. No, we have not come across this. Extensible, embeddable. Two I said. And even I said which one? Object oriented. Next, we have to talk about dynamic. Dynamic is there and high level. And one more is which one? Extensible. Sorry, interpreted. Right. So Python is dynamic language. Now Python is a dynamic language. Dynamic. In computers, you find the two terms. You come across two terms when you work in or when you work with any programming language. One is the term called static. There is one term called static, and there is one term called which one? Dynamic. Two terms are there. One is static and one more is a dynamic. What is static? Static means what? Generally, static means what? Fixed. Static means fixed. Dynamic means various, right? Various is called as a dynamic. Dynamic. Getting or not? Okay, dynamic. Static means fixed. You have seen the movie Aparchit, right? Dynamic, fixed or dynamic? Dynamic. It changes behavior based on the situation or not. Yes, that is dynamic. Static means fixed, doesn't changes, doesn't changes. That is called as fixed. Static is fixed. Dynamic means various. But how Python is dynamic? What is there in dynamic in Python? Right? So anyway, we'll discuss this. Otherwise, dynamic, and maybe tomorrow we'll install Python software and we'll start working with the Python, because already, because we have not come across, right? Maybe first class anyway, no problem. 4 classes we completed. First class is only introduction, right? 4 classes. Now this 4 classes videos I'll upload, and tomorrow we'll complete this and we'll install Python software, and I'll tell you how to work with the Python. Okay. So don't miss the tomorrow's class, because we'll install the Python software, right? And start working with the Python. Okay. So thank you. We'll see tomorrow. This remaining 3 features are there, right? What are the remaining features? Dynamic, interpreted, and high level. Yes. Tomorrow we'll discuss this, right? Thank you. We'll see tomorrow. Yes. I'll post in Google Classroom. రేపటి నుంచి చేసుకోవచ్చు. తెలియదండి, కింద అడగండి చెప్తాను. का नहीं करे, आज का नहीं, आज का भी कर देंगे. వీడియోస్ ఉంటాయండి దీనిలో, వీడియోస్ ఉన్నాయి. ఓకే, ఈ గూగుల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్ ఐడి తీసుకోండి. గూగుల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్, టేక్ దిస్ ఐడి. గూగుల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్ తెలుసు కదా మీకు? గూగుల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్ తెలుసా? ఐడియా లేదు. గూగుల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్ డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకో, ఆండ్రాయిడ్ యాప్లో ఉంటుంది. సెర్చ్, ఈరోజు సెండ్ చేస్తాను. పెట్టలేదు, పెడతాను. క్లాస్ రూమ్ అని ఉంటుంది, లాగ్ గూగుల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్. ఎస్, ఈ క్లాస్ రూమ్ కోడ్ తీసుకోండి. దిస్ ఇస్ ద క్లాస్ రూమ్ కోడ్. ఈ క్లాస్ కోడ్ ఉంది చూడండి, ఇది క్లాస్ కోడ్. ఈ క్లాస్ కోడ్ తోని జాయిన్ అవ్వండి. అప్పుడు ఇవన్నీ చూపిస్తుంది మీకు. ఇక వీడియోస్ ఉన్నాయి చూడండి, 1, 2, 3 లెక్చర్స్. ఈ వీడియోస్ చూడండి. ఓకే, ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడగండి. ఇది సిలబస్ చెప్పండి. ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ రేపటి నుంచి. ఇది ఇదే టైం, ఈ క్లాస్ టైం ఇదే. पूरा कर, और पाइथन, एडवांस पाइथन, numpy, pandas. नहीं नहीं, वो अलग है. वो HTML है ना, वो HTML अलग पढ़ना, इसमें इंक्लूड नहीं। नहीं नहीं, HTML नहीं होगा, खाली पाइथन पढ़ाएंगे इधर, वो अलग है, वो अलग कोर्स है ना। हाँ सही। I cannot unmute here. Unmute is not possible. Now this is a Google Classroom code. You can use this code and yes, I'll share. I'll share the syllabus in Google Classroom. And your last class videos are there. Online students, last class videos are there here. You can see these videos. And today's class video also I'll upload. This is a code. Python start नहीं हुआ, खाली introduction बता रहा हूँ बस। हाँ, इसमें है देखिए। हाँ, अब गूगल क्लासरूम मालूम है ना आपको? हाँ, ज्वाइन हो जाइए इसमें। आज नहीं, कल से शुरू हुआ, कल इंट्रोडक्शन बता रहा, अभी लाइव शुरू नहीं हुआ, अभी एक्चुअल पाइथन में एंटर नहीं हुआ है। व्हाट इज पाइथन बोल के पता रहा हूं, बस इतना है। हाँ? अब कुछ भी मिस नहीं हुआ है। फर्स्ट क्लास में कुछ नहीं रहता, कल इंट्रोडक्शन रहता, क्या पढ़ाते बोले। इतना हुआ, 4 क्लासेस हुआ, 4 बोले तो 3 ही, आज का तो सुन लिया ना। फिर आज का भी अपलोड करूंगा मैं। हाँ? एक बार देख लीजिए, कुछ डाउट्स रहे तो पूछिए। अरे अभी तो पाइथन शुरू नहीं हुआ, खाली इंट्रोडक्शन बता। क्या बोला, मैं पाइथन फीचर्स ही पढ़ा रहा हूँ बस इतना। हाँ? अब आपका कौन सा बैकग्राउंड क्या है आपका? सीएससी? अरे क्या यार, कंप्यूटर साइंस हो के क्या है? हाँ? थोड़ा बहुत इंट्रोडक्शन मालूम रहा है ना आप लोगों को? हाँ? हाँ, वही बोल रहा हूँ। Yeah, you can type message. If any doubt is there, you can type message. Sai Kumar. Okay. You can type message in the chat window. I'll give my mail ID also. Yeah, you can come and join. No problem. Yeah, you can do it. Vijaya. Yeah, you can do it. No problem. No group for students. There's no group. Then okay. और ज्यादा रहना क्या? एंड क्यों ज्यादा नहीं रहना क्या? हाँ? Okay.